Speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, they played the Seattle Seahawks on Thursday Night Football. This was a game marred by penalties, but on both sides. I don't think either side necessarily benefited more than the other. There were situational fouls, and I was confused by certain calls. I think far too many penalties were called in this game. I mean, each team went over 100 yards in penalty yardage, just slowing down the game to another extent. But Seattle found ways to poke holes in this defense. I haven't seen the Dallas defense, other than San Francisco, get really exposed at this degree, and they've hung up 35 points on this vaunted Dallas defense, especially targeting Deron Bland, who, despite him having the record now for pick sixes in a season and him leading the league with 8 INTs on the year, he is still subject to getting burnt, just like his predecessor that he's replacing right now in Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon likes to bite and is very aggressive trying to jump for balls and to go for interceptions. And Deron kind of takes that to an extra degree because he jumps and he can get pick sixes off of them. But this time, just simply outpaced by DK Metcalf, who is a very similar receiver to AJ Brown, who I'm sure will get a lot of looks at Deron Bland next week. But despite all of those, Seattle had a chance to really take control of this game, but just could not do so in the fourth quarter. Their offense stymied, and you can talk about the injuries to their running back room. They didn't have Chardonnay to finish the game. They were already without Kenneth Walker to come into the game, but let's face it, everybody's banged up this year and nobody's going to feel sorry for the Seattle Seahawks. And yet again, they blew an opportunity. This is their third straight loss, losing to San Francisco, Dallas, and the LA Rams earlier this November. And that means with them having going down to San Francisco to play the 49ers, that loss there could basically end their division hopes, and they already don't have the tiebreaker to LA, and right now that is really questioning whether or not they can make the playoffs. I do like what Seattle is doing, and I still think they have a chance to get that 7th seed just based off their talent, but the schedule is just brutal. I mean, after San Francisco, they play the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday night, and that is a team desperately needing a win as well. So it's going to be very tough for Seattle based off a schedule to get into the dance. But let's talk about Dallas, where after that loss to Philadelphia, they've basically steamrolled opponent through opponent, and this time they beat a team that was above 500 to start that game. I think Dak has been very good since that stretch. You see an interception or two, but it's nowhere near the level of what we saw him in the past, which is a very good sign for Dallas.